Yeah, so today I'm going to dive into a bit of the improvements that we've been making over the last few weeks on the DataHub Slack integration. Now this is available in the DataHub cloud offering, so all the features that I'll be going over are specific to our managed version here. So just to start, basically over the last few months, a lot of our customers have had a lot of feedback with our Slack integration so far. First of all, it's hard to install. The second thing is, once it's set up, like, how do I know it's working, right? And sometimes some of our customers have trouble finding their member ID that they need to input when subscribing. And then we've also heard feedback like, hey, it would just make life so much easier if I could just manage the incident notifications right within Slack. And then, of course, we've been hearing questions about, what are the other things that I could just do with DataHub without having to leave where I work, which is Slack. And so we've listened, and over the last few weeks, we've been working hard at improving the Slack app through, all of these pieces of feedback. So I'm going to start by demoing some of this. So to start, one of the things that we've really focused on making simpler is actually just setting Slack up. Previously, if you remember, we had a longer process where you had to create a Slack app and then paste the bot token into our platform. Now it's much, much simpler. You go to this page, there's instructions right here where, it'll walk you through how to get set up. And the process is pretty much 3 steps. You click this link, you get your tokens, you copy the tokens, and then you paste it into here. And once you've done that, it's pretty much connected and good to go. So it's much, much smoother now. And then right off of here, now the question is, how do I know whether this thing is working, right? And so over here, you can switch to this tab. You can type in the channel that you want to send a test notification to, and then this button will, as soon as you click it, you'll receive a test notification. And if I switch over to my demo instance here, we'll see that, in fact, the notification's been sent and our Slack integration's working. So that's really the first set of improvements that we've made, which is really around making the setup and verification simpler. Now, the second set of improvements that we've made are around incident management within Slack. So previously, when you receive notifications for an incident, you had to click on that incident, go into DataHub, and then, you could mark it as resolved or update status or all of these things. But now what we can sort of do is actually receive the notifications right in our Slack instance, and then manage them right there. Now, what I'm going to do for the demo is I'm actually going to demo this with the second piece because I think it ties in quite well. And that's really our Slack app now has like in Slack data discovery. So without having to leave your Slack instance, you can literally type DataHub search, let's say pets. I want to find data sets around pets. And immediately, you'll be presented with results for your search query. You can drill down to platforms and really filter to get the results that you want. There's paging, so you can flip between the results to find the exact one. And then once you've located a result that seems interesting, there's several options available to you. So the first option is really, you can actually look at the full details of this asset without having to leave your Slack. You can just go ahead and open this within Snowflake directly. And so you'll never even have to log into DataHub or anything. All of this is available to you right within your core, working experience. And then finally, you can actually subscribe and unsubscribe to assets right within Slack. So, and this is where I'm going to demo that sort of incidents workflow. So you can imagine that for this table, if I go ahead and subscribe to it, and let's say I just want to find out in this channel if an incident is raised against this asset. So I can go ahead and I can hit subscribe. Now, let's say that another user came across this pets table and found something was wrong with the data. So they can go ahead and raise an incident here saying, let's say, for example, the documentation looks off. You need to give it another look. And then as soon as this user raises this incident here, you'll see that we'll get this notification right within Slack. Now, with this specific deployment, there are limited options, but we already have full support for updating priority and stage within Slack as well. And so in the next update, those buttons will also reveal themselves within the app once we build out the sort of front end for the instance of that. But without having to leave Slack, you can actually go ahead and resolve this and say, documentation updated. And the message will update in place. That red will turn to green, and we'll know that, hey, that this has been fixed. So that's really the core pieces that we've already done and are already going to be available within our DataHub Cloud Slack app. Now, the final bits that I want to touch on are really our roadmap. So one of the things that we're working on right now is actually automatically linking our Slack members with our DataHub members. So if the emails match, then you actually won't have to go finding your member ID anymore. We'll just display the preview of that linked member that we found. And then you can just go ahead and subscribe to whatever you'd like throughout DataHub, and there will be no extra steps required. The final piece that's up on our roadmap is around Gen AI. So as I demoed, you can sort of search DataHub directly through Slack. But one of the other pieces that we've been working on is actually being able to tag at DataHub at Acryl and just ask it a question. Like, what is the best asset for me to use if I want to do an analysis on revenue within North America? And we'll parse through sort of some of the results and try to give you an informed report of what assets might be interesting for you. So that's what we've been working on here with our Slack update. Now, the stuff that I've already demoed and are ready will be available in the v0.3.4 update in Acryl. And we're hoping to have some of the other pieces in the roadmap come through in the v0.3.6 update.